Let me tell you a story to describe something I learned today, the law of unintended consequences. It's also known as second order thinking. When Britain was still ruling India as a colony, they realized that there was a deadly snake problem. So I think there were cobras or some species of snakes in India, and it was causing a problem. So they decided to give every person who could bring a dead snake some sort of reward. This was good in that the Indians began to kill the snakes to bring them to the officials to get a reward. But what the British didn't do is to think of the unintended consequences of that, which was that the Indians started breeding snakes. So they will breed snakes to kill them and take them to the officials. But that was not solving the problem, isn't it? Because now they were breeding the snakes, and therefore the snake problem was getting worse. That story, which happens to be real, by the way, describes acutely this thing called the law of unintended consequences or second order thinking. Essentially, it is that people sometimes fail to think of the effects of the effect. They make decisions and then they fail to go past the result of that decision to consider the effect of the result of that decision. I read a very interesting quote by John Muir, I think. It says, when we try to pick out anything in the universe, we find it connected to everything else in the multiverse. That's so interesting. So things are more connected than we sometimes realize. And it is wisdom to begin to not only consider the effect of our decisions, but the effect of the effects of our decisions. Second order thinking. We could even go as far as thinking third order thinking. And in that way, we are trying to evaluate what are the consequences of the results of our decisions. Let me see if I could get you another example. Okay, there was this time when uh, scientists found out that feeding livestock with antibiotics made them grow more pound for flesh. Essentially, they were heavier and seemed to weigh more with less food, actual food given to them because they were feeding them antibiotics. Now, this made sense for the farmers because livestock is usually sold per kilogram or by weight. And so, if you could make your livestock, your chicken, your turkey, whatever, if you could make them heavier and give them less food, you're saving money and it's more income for the farmer. But what they failed to realize was the effects of that result, which was that they were developing or allowing bacteria to become resistant to antibiotics. So, any bacteria that could survive being in the livestock had become resistant to the antibiotics that were being fed the livestock. And that was way more worse for human population because now we have bacteria that we don't know how to deal with. So let me not make this video longer than it should be. I think you get the point. Always think of not just the effect of your decision, but what the possible effects of that decision will be. And you can even take it a step further to third order thinking. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something interesting. I'll see you tomorrow.